call Kate Forbes, to be followed by Colin Smith.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. It's a double honour to stand here, both because of the place in which I speak for the first time, but also because of the people I represent in the constituency of Skye, Lochaber and Badenoch, which includes Dingwall, the Black Isle and Loch Ness. A constituency which boasts the Cuillins and the Cairngorms, Ben Nevis and Loch Ness, which is surely as much scientific evidence as you need to know that I have the most beautiful constituency in Europe. This huge constituency stretches from coast to coast. It's economically diverse, the bedrock to Scotland's food and drink economy, the linchpin to Scotland's tourism industry, and an energetic force in Scotland's businesses. And across the 11,863 square kilometres, and I expect a few gasps of awe, of my constituency, are creative, entrepreneurial and talented people who live, work and study here. But from the small isles scattered off the Lochaber coast to the villages nestled on the shores of the Great Glen and on to the urban centres of Dingwall, Portree, Aviemore and Fort William, there's one shared narrative, and that is that economic opportunity is critical to population growth in the Highlands. The historic trend in the Highlands over the course of centuries has been emigration, and that means that there are far fewer young people. In fact, if the Highlands had the same demographic profile as the rest of Scotland, there would be an additional 18,000 young people aged between 15 and 30. Across Scotland, economic opportunities underpin public services, but in the Highlands they do more. They stem the flow of emigration, and a strong, resilient Highland economy will create the long-term opportunities to boost business, create jobs, raise wages and invest in the schools, the hospitals, the roads and the public services that make the Highlands an attractive place to live, work and raise a family. And as a young Highlander, I've seen more investment in the Highlands over the last 2 terms of government than I've seen under successive governments. And I'm excited about the SNP's government agenda because it is an agenda that can make the Highlands thrive. And I congratulate Keith Brown on his appointment. But let's start with the government's commitment to roll out superfast broadband to 100% of homes and businesses over the course of this Parliament. And I'm absolutely delighted to also congratulate Fergus Ewing on his appointment as the Cabinet Secretary for Connectivity, with 100% broadband included within his remit. With reliable broadband, anybody can launch a start-up anywhere, on the most remote Highland Peninsula or island. They can study a whole host of subjects by distance learning from the comfort of their own community. They can access telecare despite living miles away from the nearest GP. Broadband is key to unlocking the potential of the Highlands. But we need physical as well as virtual connectivity. My dad remembers as a wee boy when the family of 7 would pile into the 5-seater car and choose to drive from Inverness to Glasgow via the A82 rather than the A9 because it was a bit less bumpy. But gone are those days, and I welcome the capital spend on dualling the A9, but also want to see continued upgrades to the A82 as part of the government's impressive £1.4 billion promised spend on improvements to the roads. And I'm so pleased to hear John Mason confirming the need to continue to invest in the A82. We need jobs too, and the Highlands is well on its way to being a world leader in the renewables sector, thanks to the Scottish Government's commitment to developing a globally competitive renewable energy industry, despite the challenges of a UK government which is anything but committed to this goal. Renewable energy has long been not only a source of electrical power, but also an instrument of economic and social regeneration in the Highlands. And just last week, I was pleased to see the £2.6 billion investment in an offshore wind farm in the Moray Firth, with the potential to generate electricity for 450,000 homes, support 900 jobs, and almost quadruple offshore wind capacity in Scotland. And that's not to mention the wave, the tidal, and the continuing hydro potential in our seas and rivers. And I hope to see one day energy being completely devolved to this Parliament, so that we can see an end to the unjust policy of charging Highlanders higher prices for their energy just because we are remote. When it comes to energy generation, we are the centre. We're also becoming a centre of academic study with the University of the Highlands and Islands, which not only allows our young people to live and stay and study, but also attracts more. So if there is a future for young Highlanders like myself, and if we want to see the Highlands thrive, then a resilient economy is a necessity. Thank you.